Morning, Frank. Can you give me a sound check as long as you're there? Probably busy brewing coffee, but maybe you can give me a quick sound check. Sounds good, thankfully. Morning, guys. A little post-Christmas cardio. Remember, it's not certainly not doing penance. We're not doing penance for the Christmas, for overindulging on the Christmas cookies. This is part of our routine, right? Keeping ourselves healthy. It's okay to celebrate now and again. We got to stay healthy. Move the body. Move the body every day. Do something to keep yourself in shape. So, guys, part of keeping yourself healthy isn't, we're not just looking at the physical aspect, right? David Jones is back. Good morning, my brother. Long time no speak. So it's not only the physical aspect, guys, right? We have to take care of ourselves mentally, right? Do some self-improvement, work on our minds, right? Be, what they say, sound body and sound mind. But, unfortunately, let's call a spade a spade. You look around and the vast majority of people are not taking care of themselves physically. And that also is going to show itself in your mental health too, in a lot of ways, right? So if you're weak physically and you have no self-discipline, you have no focus, and you don't care what your body looks like, feels like, you throw your health away, your physical health away. You're also going to throw your mental health away. And then you wind up like on social media, just being like a troll, right? And kind of reminds me, Christmas, you have the elves, and it kind of reminds me of trolls, these little people, because trolls really are little people. And they're weak physically, they're weak mentally, and they have such a high degree of self-loathing and such a low degree of self-discipline. And the only thing they have in life is to try and bring other people down. If they see somebody that might be outperforming them or doing something that they wish they had the discipline to do, the only recourse they have, because they're not going to do it themselves. They're not going to put the effort in themselves to better themselves. They'll never do that. So their only recourse to make themselves feel any better, just for a moment, because then when they look at themselves in the mirror again, then they back to reality, back to their sad reality. But the only thing that they could do is to lash out at other people and try and bring other people down. You know, they look at somebody that's trying to do something, that's making an attempt to better themselves in any aspect of life, and they know they don't have the discipline to do it. So again, if they're not going to do it themselves, they don't want to see somebody else do it. So always keep that in mind, guys. You know, social media is a blessing and a curse, like a lot of things in life. A lot of things, it's a double-edged sword, right? So social media in a lot of ways brings people together. I know when I started my YouTube channel, I met a lot of really great people through YouTube. People I call my friends now. But again, there's a lot of shit out there that you have to sift through to find the good stuff. But it's like anything in life, it's what you make of it, you know? You got it, Mirko. Good morning, bro. Actually, good afternoon. Always trust in yourself, Mirko. Always trust in yourself. If you don't trust in yourself, you don't respect yourself, why would you ever expect anybody else to trust you or have any respect for you? If you can't do that for yourself, you know, but when you have a good amount of self-discipline, pride in yourself, self-esteem, trust in yourself, and you live that way, you don't have to tell anybody I'm disciplined, or, you know, I trust myself, or it just, they'll know, you know, it's just there. People can see it. And like I said, that's, a lot of people are intimidated by that. Because the sad fact is, most people, I mean, I guess they have it in them, but they just, they don't want to get out of their comfort zone. They don't want to do the work. They're too comfortable being comfortable, you know? And it's sad. A lot of it's sad. No, brother, we can't give up. We can't give up. Can't give up, right? And if you give up on yourself, excuse me, guys, I'm getting choked up talking about this. Literally. If you give up on yourself, right? If you don't work on yourself, if you don't do anything to help yourself, why would anybody else want to help you? You know, it only goes so far, where you say to yourself, look, I'd like to help you. I have no problem helping somebody else, but if you don't have it in you to help yourself, I can't do anything for you. You know, nobody else. So I say, like, the motivation. How do you stay motivated to get up early and do this? How do you stay motivated to go out in the cold and do pull-ups and push-ups? Well, what's the alternative? Sitting on the couch, getting fat, getting sick? I don't like that alternative. I was headed down that path for most of my life, running around like a drunk ape, you know. I mean, my only saving grace was that I did have some form of physical fitness in my life, that I kind of caught the bug at a young age and I kept it going. But on the flip side, you know, like we always talk about, I always thought that was my penance. As long as I was working out, as long as I was getting into the gym, and doing some reps, I could eat and drink whatever I want and live however I wanted. It's not the case at all. Yeah, you're right, Mirko. You're absolutely right. And it never ends. You know, you're learning from the time you're born until you take your last breath. You know, you never, there's a lot of people walking around who like to think they know it all, but you're never going to know it all. You know, every single day you learn something different. Your perspective on life changes constantly. You know, I certainly don't have the same perspective I had at 61 that I had at 25. It's a lot different back at 25. Like I said, you think you're bulletproof, you think you're going to live forever. And we're so short-sighted by nature. We don't look. Most of us don't. There are some people out there that really do. But to have that at a young age, to have that, I guess you want to call it a wisdom, to look ahead that far and plan, most of us don't. And that's why we're walking around fat and sick and broke, in debt, you know, driving cars that we have loans for that we can't pay, and, you know, just trying to look the part, thinking if you put a gold chain on your neck and nice clothes and drive a nice car, but on the inside you're fat and sick and your organs are rotting out of your body. You know, where are you going with that? Nope. That's right, David. Nobody's going to do it for you. Nobody. And again, there's a lot of people out there that are like, what do you want to call them? Just like a giving type, or like they want to help people. But, you know, how far is that going to go when you're trying to help somebody who just has no desire, no inclination to help themselves? You know, it gets to the point where they just want to sit there and just, well, do everything for me. And that gets tired real quick. And then you're the bad guy. You know, you're the one trying to help somebody, and then you say, look, I can't do this if you're not going to help yourself. And then they'll turn around and you're the piece of shit. Oh, you don't want to help me? Well, why don't you get mad at yourself for not helping yourself? You know? Yeah, you're right, Mirko, right? What do they say? We only have right now. There's no such thing as a past or a present, past or a future. Makes a lot of sense when you think about that too, right? Because, you know, you look back in your life and you always, it's like watching a movie and then you try and change the ending. It's never going to change. It happened. You know, you're not going to predict the future. Yeah, you absolutely have to plan, no doubt, to a degree, but you have to plan for the unknown too, right? Because you don't know what's going to happen. You could look at the future and say, this is how it's going to be. This is the way I envision it. But life's going to throw something at you. You know, you may think that your future is going to go this way, and in a split second, you're going that way. So, you know, you're going to plan to a degree, but you also have to plan knowing in the back of your mind that there's got to be a contingency plan, or you got to be ready. Got to be ready to adapt to everything. Morning, Magda. All right, Mirko, go get it. Go get it, brother. $9.90. Merry Christmas to you too. I hope you're doing well. Thanks for popping in this morning. Hope you had a good Christmas. All right, David, go get that walk, brother. Clear your head, do some thinking, enjoy, get some fresh air. I always appreciate you, brother. Stay safe out there. Talk to you later on. See, guys, everybody says, what's better? Is it better to do fasted cardio? Excuse me. I think it is. And I think you get even more bang for your buck when it's fasted, caffeinated cardio. Fasted and caffeinated. Keep you moving. Like I said before, I'm not a runner. I'm not a big runner. And I never was. I mean, I've done it periodically through the years, but I always found running so boring. But I admire the guys that can go out and just run for miles at a time. I mean, that takes a definite focus and a self-discipline to be able to do that. But again, that comes into not only are you working your body, but your mind too, right? You have to tell your mind, this is what we're going to do today, you know? But again, how many guys do you see? If you go out early in the morning, even when it's dark, and I'm here in New Jersey, right? So it's dark until now, probably like 7 o'clock in the morning still, around sunrise. If you go out, before sunrise, you'll see somebody running here or a runner on the side of the road there, as you're driving. So you think of how many people are out there running or doing some form of exercise in the morning to start their day. And then you go by Dunkin' Donuts and you go by Starbucks and you go by McDonald's. And how many people are lined up in the drive-thrus? How many people are in there getting their McDonald's big breakfast, their Starbucks, coffee milkshakes with 120 grams of sugar in it. So, and then those are the same people and then, you come back later in the afternoon, and where I live, there's a McDonald's, a Taco Bell, and a Dunkin' Donuts next to each other, back to back to back. And you go by there every afternoon between, like, say, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, 7 o'clock at night. Lines around the buildings. Lines around the buildings, people wait. They won't even get out of the car. They won't even park the car 20 feet away from the building and walk in and get their slot. They have to sit in their car. And those are the same people that, I don't have time. It's so hard to exercise. I don't know what to eat. Well, if you spent that time that you spent in drive-through lines researching how to eat, buying some good food, and right behind the McDonald's is a supermarket with a nice produce section, a nice meat section. So you can be in there buying meat and vegetables and some fruit. But everybody's pressed for time. I'm not saying there's not a lot of pressure in life. Everybody has pressure. You have your job, you have your kids, you got your wife nagging you or whoever. And as you get older, when you're in your 30s, you're looking back at your 20s. Maybe you got married, maybe you have a couple of kids now. But life is a progression. You can't keep living. If you're 35, still trying to live like you did when you were 21, something's wrong. Something seriously. If you're 40, still trying to live the way you lived when you were 30, again, something's wrong. So, but I'm 61, and I have friends of mine that I grew up with, that I worked with for 30 years. We palled around, did all the stupid junk, but these guys are still living that way. Their idea of a good time is still going out to the bar on Sunday for 6 or 7 hours, pouring beer down their throat, hooting and hollering because for football teams, because they played fantasy football. They throw away their reality health for fantasy football. And that's all it comes down to is priorities, guys. You know, you go to grammar school and then you graduate and you move on, right? Whether you go to middle school after that or high school. And then after high school, you graduate and you move on. You get a job or you go to college. Hopefully, it's not some indoctrination camp like we have today. And you actually learn something in college. But whatever, what I'm saying is life is a progression. You live that portion of your life, leave it, move on to the next one. And hopefully, each time you move on, you're a little wiser, you know, a little smarter. So, morning, Julian. Belated Merry Christmas to you. I hope you're doing well. Thanks for popping in. But I have, you know, getting back to the guys I worked with, and they're all my age now, late 50s, you know, 60. I've seen guys, and I'm not joking when it comes to this. Like I've seen through the years, you know, they're playing this fantasy. Just I'll take fantasy football as another ridiculous example of what we do. I saw literally friendships end. Guys cursed each other up and down, almost come to blows. I saw it. I stood and watched it. Come to blows over fantasy football. No, you didn't make that pick. You didn't send it in time, and literally never they never were friends again over something like that. You know, it's madness. You talk about priorities being screwed up. All right, Julie. So, 28, man. You're still a young pup. Good for you, brother. You're right. Only so fun for so long, right? And then things start breaking down. I wish I gave it up like you at 25, but I was just getting revved up at 25. I was just getting the party started at 25. But, you know, like I say, we're going to pay a price. The dam will always break. If you're doing the wrong things consistently, that dam's going to break. It might break at 30, it might break at 40. Everybody's different, you know. And unfortunately for me, I kind of went a little longer than I wish things started breaking down a little earlier. Maybe I would have learned my lesson then. But when things did start breaking down, it was eye-opening, believe me. I said, holy shit, I'm not bulletproof. I'm not indestructible. Going to the gym, And bench pressing 300 doesn't ward off high blood pressure. It doesn't ward off fatty liver. It doesn't ward off, all the other shit, inflammation, lack of sleep. I was horrible for 30 years. Sleeping 3 hours, sleeping 2 hours, broken sleep all the time. And people just don't get that fact either. How that really, your cortisol, the stress it puts on your body. So when you factor in, you have your kids, you have this, you have your job, everything in life that brings you stress, people, toxic people around you, and then you don't sleep right. It's just like, it's like a tidal wave of stress. And that's why I say one of the biggest things, you tell people, well, try and cut down on stress. Yeah, well, that's why it takes so much work, and people just think, no, I just need to lose 20 pounds and I'll be good. No, 95% of us need to revamp our entire lives, everything that we do. You have to look at everything you're doing in your life, because it all fits together in one puzzle. All right, you can't just work on one piece. And that's why these people, these idiots, shooting Ozempic into their ass. Because it is nothing. It has nothing to do with health. I just want to, and this is, in a big part women, but it's just as many men. And we can even go, if we get on that TRT train again, it's all out of vanity. It's all out of not wanting to put the work in. I say it almost every day. You show me the guy that's injecting TRT for a legitimate medical reason. A legitimate medical reason that you need to be putting a 30, 35-year-old guy, even sometimes younger than that. Guys my age, it's rampant, these guys taking this shit. And then they present themselves as some type of health expert. And like I say all the time, I don't want to hear anything. It's a personal choice. If you're doing it and you think it's the right thing for you, but then don't turn around and tell me how to live a healthy life. Bro, all you have to do to build muscle is do this. Yeah, but every sentence that comes out of your mouth that's some type of health advice, you always have to preface it and finish the sentence with, and I'm injecting TRT to get these results. And these women, and again, it's guys too. A lot of guys shooting that Ozempic into their ass. Because again, it's not about health. It has nothing, it's appearance. They equate, if I lose 10 pounds, even if it takes sticking a needle in my ass with some, something, I can't fathom what this stuff is. I don't know what it's going to do to my body. Just because and every doctor is going to tell you it's perfectly safe. No. Yeah, there's side effects, but very rare, very rare. And you're just doing it out of vanity and laziness. Let's call it what it is. And the same thing with you guys. Unless you could tell me that you have a legitimate medical reason for putting exogenous hormones into your body, for shooting testosterone into your body, you're full of shit. You're doing it for vanity reasons. And you're doing it out of laziness. You want that quick fix. You don't want to put the work in. And that's a fact. Good morning, brother. Yeah, we're getting some cardio gains this morning. Like I said, some fasted, caffeinated cardio. So you got to be careful, guys. You You got to master your own health. You got to be in charge of your own health. Again, like I said earlier, physically and mentally, right? And coming online and watching these influencers, most of them are roided up or TRT or growth hormone, whatever they're doing, right? You got to really filter where you're getting your information from. Mentally, watching the news, which is pure propaganda, 90% of it. But even all this health advice, who's it coming from? What's his motivation? Is it some asshole that's all roided out and he's showing you like an 8-second short on TikTok or whatever, telling you to do, this is the best exercise to build this. No mention of drugs or exogenous hormones. And then at the end, if you really want to supercharge your results, buy my protein, my shit protein. Buy my pre-workout. Buy my desiccated liver pills. And people will do it. Hundreds of dollars a month on bullshit snake oil. And then you'll say, well, you really should be eating whole foods, healthy foods. Yeah, but that's so expensive. Nah, how are you going to eat healthy if it's so expensive? And you'll go into Hock to buy some bullshit protein powder that's loaded with maltodextrin and fillers and shit protein. So that's it, guys. Your health is in your hands. You got to be proactive. Watch where you get your information from. Be consistent. Just do the fundamentals. Eat real food. Exercise as often as you can. Make it a part of your life. Don't wake up and question whether you're going to do some exercise. It's going to be a part of your life to some degree. It doesn't have to be 2 hours a day. It could be 20 minutes a day. Even doing what I'm doing right here. Get down and do a couple of push-ups after that. Just make it part of your life. Ramon, 61, shout out to you, brother. I'm with you. How long should you, well, like I said, I don't know what your starting point is. I don't know what your physical limitations are. I don't know your experience. Have you ever done exercise? Have you never exercised in your life? But at the end of the day, like I talk about all the time, over and over and over again, it's the fundamentals. Body weight squat. If you have nothing, I don't have access to a gym. Okay, but we all have access to gravity for now, and we can all find the floor. So you can stand in place, do a body weight squat. You can get on the ground and do a push-up. You can't do a push-up on the ground, you do it against the wall. You do it against the steps. Do them on your knees. Do some type of pulling motion. If you can't do a pull-up, you get some bands, some rubber bands, and do some some band rows. Get on the floor and do some leg raises. Do some reverse crunches. But again, it's how long. There's no magic number. I mean, and it depends on what you're doing. If you're trying to set a world record in the bench press, well, you're going to be doing a lot of training. But if you're talking about just general health, that's 61. And I'm going to assume you're a beginner. Maybe you've never done it before. It's got to start with your eating, right? You got to start focusing on the diet, and then just do what you can. Your cardio, if you do have access to a gym, I'm a bigger fan of the elliptical machine than I am of the treadmill, because we're working upper and lower. But I can't give you a number, Ramon. It's just what you can, what's sustainable, what's realistic. If we talk about, next week is New Year. So the New Year's resolution is New Year, new me. I'm going to go to the gym every single day. Well, you've never gone to the gym in your life. And then you're going to wake up one day and all of a sudden be dedicated and disciplined enough to do it 7 days a week. Come on, maybe start 2 days a week and progress from there. So, but, all I can say, Ramon, is look at your diet, because that's where the real health is going to manifest itself, with what's going in your mouth, and then the exercise, whatever you could do, whatever you enjoy doing, whatever's sustainable. Don't do it to the point where you're going to get burnt out. Like I said, set realistic goals. If you've never done it, don't say, all right, starting tomorrow, it's 7 days a week. Start with 3. Make a calendar. Hang a calendar on your refrigerator, and there's 30 or 31 days in a month. Tell yourself, I'm going to do something for 20 days a month. So at the end of each month, there should be at least 20 X's. I did a little cardio. I did some push-ups. I did some body weight squats, but at the end of the month, and it's about building the habits. I know this is all cliche, but it's the fundamentals. It's never going to change. It's never, and it goes back to what I just said. You're on social media and everybody's going to tell you this is the way to do it. You could grow your shoulders in 6 weeks doing. Stop the bullshit. Stop the bullshit. Get up every day and make the healthiest choices that you can. It's not going to be every single day. Nobody's going to be 100%. But if you're doing the right thing 75% of the time, and you have your holidays, you have your birthdays, you have your screw ups, it's not going to be a deal breaker for you. So good luck with that, brother. Keep in touch. Let me know how it goes. Thanks again for being here. Julian, how do I eat? Mostly whole foods. I've talked about it, again, it's one of the things I talk about all the time. A lot of eggs. Like today, I'll have eggs for breakfast, maybe with some kimchi. I'll have some fruit, like my apples. Of late, I've been getting into the dates, but they're dangerous. They're like very sweet, like eating candy. But fruits, breakfast is going to be eggs. Sometimes I'll throw a little meat in there, maybe some ground beef, a piece of chicken. I'll do yogurt, either Greek yogurt or Icelandic yogurt, maybe with some nuts in there. Again, a piece of fruit. And then dinner is always going to be sardines, some type of meat. And again, if that's sweet potato. And then more fruit. I've been eating a lot of fruit lately. But yeah, whole foods. That's what I try to stick to. Again, meat, eggs. That's what my diet centers around that. And normally I eat twice a day. I don't eat in between those 2 meals for the most part. Occasionally, very occasionally, maybe in the middle of the day, I'll have a protein shake, a whey protein isolate shake, with a little almond butter or peanut butter and a banana or something like that mixed in. But, I try to keep everything on the up and up when it comes to the diet with the whole foods. So I don't count calories per se. I have a general idea of, what I'm putting in my body. I've done it. I've talked about this too, about tracking food. I think it's a good idea for people. I don't think you should be tracking food for your whole life, every morsel of food that goes in your mouth, but I think you should dedicate some time to it and get a tracker. There's no shortage of them. And do that for a while just to get to know what's in the food. So if I have this much chicken, it's going to be that much protein or that many calories. And, and especially if you start tracking the processed food that you're putting in your mouth, you're going to see, the fat and sugar content, which is, that's where the real danger zone is, because all this ultra processed food is a combination of these seed oils. It's always going to be seed oils, canola oil, a bunch of sugar, and then they'll say no sugar added, but then it'll have maltodextrin, which is sugar on steroids. So you have to learn about the food. So again, I don't think anybody has to go their whole life, but I think you should put some time into learning what's going in your body so you have a good idea. All right, guys. So I think my time's up here. We beeped out. Coffee's running low. Appreciate everybody that was here today. I hope everybody did have a good Christmas, or you can have a good Hanukkah, or whatever it is you celebrate. The main thing is stay focused, keep yourself healthy, stay safe, and get your reps in. Go have a good day, guys. Do something good for your body. I'll see you in the next one.